Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Today, we're going to be talking about mastering self-trust, building that certainty and connection within yourself. Most of the women I talk to are blocking themselves from this opportunity because of self-doubt or limiting beliefs. And when anxiety, worry, emotional overwhelm, insecurities, or tension shows up, you can almost always bet that there is a thought or belief that is promoting feelings of self doubt, or there is a story that we're telling ourselves that is limiting us from moving forward. So, for example, after my divorce, I began to awaken to the fact that I was extremely disconnected from myself. And I was feeling really frustrated at the fact that I was on my own. And the biggest reason for that was because I really did not trust myself to be making decisions. I was sold on the idea that I wouldn't be able to make decisions for myself, and I was going to fail and mess everything up with my daughter and the business I was running at the time. This created a lot of fear, anxiety, tension, insecurity, and overwhelm that it actually began to shut my body down. My heart was under extreme pressure and my emotions were creating extreme stress. However, I am thankful for the near-death experience because it woke me up. It actually literally pulled me out of the coma that I was in, and it woke me up. It shook me to my core, and I had no choice but to wake up. It made me realize that if I didn't change something about the way I was doing things, I was going to die, and my daughter would be alone. And thankfully, that was the pivotal moment for me when my healing journey began. Within the following year, I had learned how to completely transform myself and my life, and I'd creating unwavering certainty in my connection with myself, which in turn created unshakable confidence in my ability to trust myself. Today, I wanted to share some of the most transformative steps that I took to get here with you guys. Number one, be grateful for the doubt, insecurity, or limitation. I know you might be thinking, what in the hell are you talking about, Heather? And it's so funny. I share this in some of my content, or I'm starting to share it a little bit more. There are some things in the personal development industry that I don't like. And there's things in success, like in people who are trying to help people be successful, whatever, like the motivators, the inspirational speakers, the influencers, whatever. There are just some things that I'm not fully sold on, right? And and it's so funny. What triggered this in me was I saw an ad for like awaken your consciousness. The personal development industry is broken because they're just trying to fix you, right? And I consider myself to be a personal development mentor, and I definitely do not believe in fixing anything. Nobody's broken, okay? So when I say be grateful for the doubt, insecurity, or limitation, this is what I mean, okay? So when I became a meditation instructor, I learned a lot about Taoism, okay? And what Taoism represents is kind of the yin and the yang, right? And this is kind of where I understood my own powers. The reason I have become successful is because I have shined a light on the doubt, on the insecurities, on the limitations that I had set for myself that were holding me back. I shined a light on those things and I embraced them. I accepted them for who and what and whatever, right? I accepted it for where it was, how it was, and all of these things. And I was able to do it through actually essentially what we're talking about today. So Taoism teaches the concept of the yin and the yang. Okay. And so what that kind of means is as above, so below, right? You cannot have one without the other. How would you know what a good day is without the bad days, right? How would you know you're feeling high without feeling low, right? And how would you know that you're confident if you're not ever insecure? How would you know that you are intelligent without those moments of doubt or ignorance, right? How you cannot experience light without the dark. The dark is the way to the light. So another thing in my meditation practices or teaching that I learned was, the ultimate way to achieve inner peace is from kind of lying between the two worlds of dark and light, right? So not being extremely happy when things are going well. And I know this might sound crazy, but it made a lot of sense to me. And I'm hoping that some of you, it'll really resonate. Don't be extremely happy. Like if you achieve something, or if you said it, whatever, like if something really good is happening or life is going really well, don't be so extremely happy in it or attached to that, because it's not going to last. It's going to be temporary. Darkness is right around the corner, right? And I know that sounds like, God, well, I thought I could get out of this. And I get that. I was totally sold on the idea that life didn't have to be chaotic. Life didn't have to be whatever. And to an extent, that is true. But from my experience, what I have found, the only reason that that can be true is when you are at peace with the chaos. So what that means is, don't allow yourself to get so upset when things are bad, but don't allow yourself to get so excited when things are good. Live somewhere in the middle, right? Life is never going to be linear. Progress is never going to be linear. Success is never going to be linear. The only reason people are successful is because I was chatting with my mentor, and she gave a description of somebody's there's walking up the steps of success, right? They're walking up the stairs to get to their goal, but how they're getting there is because they get to one step higher, but in order to get to the next step, they have to fall. They have to fall and land on a trampoline, and the trampoline bounces them back up. So it's not linear. It's this back and up and down motion, right? That's the truth with everything. And the reason is because we cannot experience growth without falling. We cannot experience these things. So I don't agree with the fact that we have to fix. We have to do these things, right? What we have to do, in my opinion, to achieve true success, to achieve true personal development, is the act of acceptance of darkness, right? And that's what we're talking about here. And the only reason we ever get into these moments of doubt or mistrust with ourselves or disconnected from ourselves is because of the darkness and the doubts and the limitations. So you can imagine, right? I'm hoping you guys are getting this so far. You can imagine if you can accept, and when you fall into your lower realms or your lower vibration, when you can accept those things truly, genuinely, and you're okay with it, what happens is you can now vision or see through the lens of higher clarity, because you are looking at the lower realm with love, compassion, understanding. You're looking for the opportunities. You're looking through the lens of, what can I learn here, right? I hope this is making sense so far. So I kind of went on a soapbox. So let me just get back to my notes here. So how can you appreciate your moments of doubt and limitation for the fact that it's the only reason you're recognizing when you're confident, when you're certain, or when you can trust yourself to begin with, right? And again, kind of going in to that, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling dark, my shadows are here, right? How can we lead with gratitude or appreciation for the fact that we're here? Okay, because you cannot become knowledgeable unless you are first aware that you don't know something to begin with. Your doubts, your limitations, your insecurities are the only way to end up on the other side, by accepting and learning from them. So if we are constantly running or rejecting or trying to pretend that we're never feeling bad or whatever, if we're trying to cover those things up, it's like we're like shoveling away from it, or we're running away from it. We're just digging ourselves into a hole, because we're not allowing ourselves to actually develop anything or grow anything within us, right? I hope this is making sense so far. So step number 2, or tool number 2, strategy number 2 to pair with this: make friends with the shadow. This is kind of an additional thing here. So how you're going to make friends with those shadows, with that dark self, is through gratitude, right? And so shadows are just another word or another way of saying your doubts, insecurities, fears, and personal judgments. So if instead of allowing yourself to feel controlled by your shadows or rejecting your shadows, running away from your shadows when they show up, if you can tap into appreciation for their appearance, through the reminder that as above, so below, meaning you hear their reminders, right? They're here as your reminders to the higher possibilities. They're here to remind you of why the other side exists, right? So there's always lessons, there's always opportunities within the lower realms, right? So we don't want to reject them. We don't want to be upset by them. And I hope you guys are seeing how inner peace, true, genuine certainty, connection, and trust within the self can be built by fully embracing the darkness within and looking for those opportunities instead of looking them. So allow yourself to see the shadows as the illusions that they are here, but they are here for a purpose. They're not your truth. Your shadows are lying to you. They're lying to you, but they have a purpose. They have a purpose because they have to lie to you, and you have to embrace that lie within yourself to see the truth, to see the highest truth, to see your potential of being limitless and powerful. Okay? They are your opportunity to the other side. They are your reminder. They create your truth because they're your lessons. They're the parts of you that when you accept and when you embrace, your self-love goes on blast. Your self-acceptance goes on blast. Your ability to trust yourself goes on blast because now you are no longer looking at your shadow self or your dark self as your enemy, as like something out to get you. And here's another thing. One of the biggest issues here with that is, and I know this from my own experience and, working with so many clients on this topic, the biggest challenge with this is we've been running and rejecting unintentionally. We may not even realize it. We may realize it. We may not realize it, but we've been doing this for years. We've been doing this for our entire life, right? We've been shoveling and masking. And so one of the hardest parts, so there's two hard parts about this, okay? The first hard part is allowing yourself to stop rejecting it and to create awareness around it, right? And that is where a good mentor can come in, right? A good mentor can kind of hear your story, hear your concerns, hear your worries from a second perspective and allow you to work through to where you bring it up to the surface so that you can actually learn from it in a safe way and move through it. Because the second hard part about it is these are lower realms. These are literally your inner demons. And it can be extremely scary to face them, to deal with them. It can be really overwhelming. It can be really triggering for you. So having a guide to be able to kind of guide you through that rejection and then feeling safe through embracing it, right? Those are some things that are, the most challenging parts about this, because this is kind of complex. And if you've never done something like this, again, like I said, you can miss your blind spots. And if and when you do become aware of something, it can be so overwhelming that you won't allow yourself to fully embrace it, to step into that vulnerability, to feel the feelings so that you can move through them, so that you can learn from them. I hope this is making sense so far. The third thing, your words have power. Notice what stories you have going on in your head and around what you can and cannot do. Pay attention to the I won't be able to's and the it's not possible moments. Pay attention to those moments. When you notice that you're in tension or self-doubt, fear, or insecurity, let it be the teacher. This is an awareness building exercise. So this will help get closer to solving that first issue of not being able to recognize it or not being able to get out of that cycle of rejection. If you can become extremely aware of when your nervous system is tensing up or when you're not feeling right about something, that if you can let that be your trigger to say, hey, hold up, I'm experiencing an illusion. I'm experiencing my lower self right now, and this is my opportunity to get curious about what's going on, right? So when you notice that it's coming up, when it's showing up for you, asking yourself the question, what is the story that I'm telling myself right now, right? What am I telling myself, right? Now, for example, back to when I was talking in the beginning about my stress and tension and overwhelm. The story that I was telling myself on repeat, right, in my head whether I was aware of it or not, but this is just what was happening. This was my fear. And this is the story that my fear was telling me, was that I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to mess my daughter up. I'm going to mess my business up. I'm going to mess everything up because I can't do it on my own. I'm not smart enough. I don't trust myself. I'm not good enough, or whatever, right? Right? Everything's been ripped away from me. I don't deserve to figure it out. Must have done something in my past life to deserve all of this crap that I'm experiencing, right? So I don't deserve anything good, obviously. I've had a divorce. My father's dead. And now I'm a single mom all alone. I don't have anybody, right? I was totally in the victim mentality and the stories that I was telling myself, and it was crushing my nervous system so much so it shut my body down. Everything went out of whack. I started to form a cyst on my ovary. I'd never had cysts on my ovaries. My heart was palpitating. I could hardly breathe. My breathing was shallow. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't express myself. Nothing in my bodily functions were working properly. And I had a freaking 1-year-old watching, experiencing, in the background, I knew she was experiencing me like this. And so that was even building that evidence that I'm going to mess this kid up. I'm going to mess her life up. She deserves a better mother. I should, whatever. And then the postpartum starts setting in, right? So this was the hardest thing for me to do, but it's what changed my life. It's what completely transformed me. And it's why I show up and I help women do this process, because I know how challenging it was. I know how hard it was. But I was given the gift of being able to do it and get through it. And that's why I'm here today with you guys. And that's why I'm sharing this with you guys, right? So I had to face those stories. I had to confront those stories in my head that said, I'm not good enough. I'm going to mess this up. I can't figure it out. I had to confront those stories head on. And I had to figure out a way to stop being controlled by that narrative, because bringing awareness to your limiting narratives that you're being controlled by is the key to your freedom. It's the key to the success. It's the key to the other side. It's the key to the confidence. So I hope you guys are seeing, you have to acknowledge these insecurities. You have to, no matter, here's the thing. I saw a video on cayenne pepper and how healing it can be to the body. And something she said was, if you are having an ulcer and you take cayenne pepper, it is never going to hurt you. It's never going to hurt you because it's never going to create an ulcer. So what that means is it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to feel great to take a shot of that cayenne pepper, but it will never hurt you because it will never create the ulcer. So if I take that principle and I apply it to this for you guys to see, right? The limiting, the facing of the insecurity, facing them, addressing them, embracing them is never going to hurt you, because it's never going to create a limiting belief. You are already living with this limiting belief. You are already living in this moment that is keeping you held back. You're already living there. So facing it is never going to take you deeper into that. It's never going to hurt you. It can only set you free. It can only solve the problem, because the solution to the pain is in the pain. The solution, the other way, the way out, the freedom is through. So now, again, a mentor can be extremely helpful in this step. Someone who knows what they're doing, someone who can be the person that helps you spot your blind sides and help you maintain groundedness and safety. If that's not something that you're like, as a meditation instructor, I am really equipped with being able to do that within myself, to keep myself grounded, to keep myself safe. But if you have not experienced that, if you've not learned those tools, if you've not learned how to stay safe and how to stay grounded so that you can work through these things, or if you want additional support to get those blind spots, then I totally 100% recommend you having a trusted mentor that can guide you through it. Someone you have good chemistry with, someone you feel good with, someone you enjoy, someone you can relate to, right? These things, having that, because even me as a mentor, I have mentors just in those categories, right? I have mentors that I trust, that I relate to, that I can be myself with, that I can put myself out there with, right? So I hope that's making sense so far. So once we have the narrative that we're following that is not serving us, we can begin to look for the solution, right? You might instead change the way that you're saying it, right? This is the biggest tool with this. So once you identify the narrative that's holding you back, the tool to move through, right? The tool to move through is looking for ways, and this is another one. This is another one that can be a little complicated and take some practice, okay? But here's the thing, you don't have to have a mentor. I did it for the first 2 years, all on my own. I didn't have a mentor. I wasn't connected to anybody. And I solely believe I had to do it on my own for a divine reason, right? So I wasn't ready for a mentor, but now I am ready for mentors, and I have mentors to take me to the higher levels, right? So some of you here may not be ready for a mentor. You can do this on your own. You just have to commit. You have to apply to it. You have to, last week I talked about goals and mission. You have to have a reason that is so strong that you are going to do this on your own, right? But some of you here may have been doing this on your own for a while, like I had, and are ready for a mentor to take you to your next level, right? So you are the only one who is going to know where you're at, okay? You're the only one who's going to know where you're at. So changing the way that you're saying things. And so if you are, so for example, if we go back to my story in the beginning, right? I'm going to mess this up. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to fail, blah, blah, blah. If I started to change the way I was talking, right? I started to look for opportunities for the solution. You have to start asking yourself questions or making statements that is going to start allowing your brain to begin to look in a new direction. Okay. So you might say, up until now, I didn't know what I was doing. Up until now, I didn't know what I was doing. And then another way is, I am learning how to trust myself. I am learning how to make the best decisions for myself and my family, right? And then another thing that I like to do, you can change it into a statement that you're saying, I am learning this, right? I am learning this. Up until now, I haven't had what I needed, but right now I have it, right? Right now I have it, and I'm learning to do the opposite. And then you can go in, this is powerful. This is something that's really can be almost instantaneous when I do this. I'm telling you, I start asking the question, how can I be shown the way? This is powerful. So when you start to change it to up until now, or I am learning to, how can I be shown the solution? Here's the beauty of the connection to yourself. You have so much magic and so much knowledge that the only reason you don't know it is because you have not yet faced the insecurity, the doubt, the limitation that tells you you don't. You have not unlocked your potential. You have not unlocked your inner magic or the inner knowledge that you carry because of these limitations that tell you it's not available. Facing those limitations brings you to the other side and unlocks that within. Okay? These questions can help you do that. I hope this is helpful. I hope this is making sense so far. I know I've mentioned a lot so far throughout this training about having a mentor. So for the ones who are like, man, I've been doing this for a while, and there is still something holding me back. There's still something I'm not seeing. There is still something that is blocking me from taking my next level, from stepping into my next level and unlocking my fullest potential. That's why I created a free 15-minute inner healing assessment session. In this session, we will get on a call together. We will identify where you are on your healing journey and your personal development journey, what your goals that you're working towards are, and what you feel are the roadblocks, right? And we'll dive deeper into those roadblocks, and we'll get really specific. We'll identify some of those blocks. And then I will also give you personalized solution steps that are going to help you move forward today to get through those blocks in a 15-minute call. This call is nothing but pure value. It is going to allow you to create that space for me to help you identify your blind spots and give you solution steps that you can take right now to move you forward. So this call is for you. If you are like, man, I've been doing this for a while, or you're extremely aware of this, like you have the knowledge, but implementing it or allowing it to take you to that next level where you are ready to go, this call is for you, right? This call is for you if you are a high achiever and you know that you're meant to be, have, and experience more in this lifetime, and you are ready to move forward right now. You are ready to unlock this ability and step into your fullest potential right now. This call, like I said, it's going to help you identify those blind spots because we're going to be in the space together to do that, right? It's going to help you step out of control and allow yourself to open up and allow yourself to expand. You're going to be in a container that's going to allow you to do that. Okay. So if that's you and you're ready for that expansion, for that identification of those blind spots, and you're ready for solutions to move you forward right now, then click the link above or below this video to save your spot. Spots are limited. And if this is you, I want to make sure that I get that time with you. It is extremely important. It is actually my mission to get that time with you. So I would love and be honored to help you identify those blind spots and give you the tools and the personalized solutions to move you forward right now. So if that's you, please go ahead and go book your call right now with the link above or below this video, wherever you're watching, and I'll be looking forward to connecting with you. So thank you all. Thank you everyone who came here and spent some time with me today. You are all incredible, and I'm so honored to be a part of your healing transformation in any way, wherever you are in your journey. I am honored to be here. I'm just so thankful to have you guys. And until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.